Hello, friends. It's Pastor Randall here. Thank you for joining us at the for the walk through the Bible study here at Loudon United Methodist. We are finishing up the book of Judges. The next little bit is really hard to do a video for because literally half the stuff I would have to talk about is actually against the things you're supposed to talk about on YouTube. And so I'm going to do my best to try to keep the rules and yet still teach. But this is a hard stretch to read. This is where the wheels come off. There is a refrain that happens, and it started halfway through the book, but it continues. Because there was no king, everyone did what was right in their own eyes. So here we go. The first story, which it's kind of funny that these stories involve Levites. Levites have no land. Levites are supposed to be priests. Levites are supposed to travel around. Again, Levite, as well as the missionary ideas of Paul and Peter, become a controlling metaphor for us Methodists. That's why they love our preachers to move around. They're like, a priest should not have a home. They should be on the move. And again, like Peter and Paul in the New Testament. So, this man who lives in Dan, named Micah, his mama wants him. They have their own household gods. His mom has a lot of silver. There's this weird thing about how she's like, someone stole my 28 pounds of silver. He's like, no, I got it. And she's like, well, give it to, and I'm giving it back to you. She's like, well, here's some more to put silver over this idol. And so they're committing idolatry. Now, there's a traveling Levite, a young man. He kind of comes into the home, and Micah says to the Levite, hey, I'll hire you to be my private priest. Now, of course, it's a private priest with their own idol. And the priest goes, this is a good idea. And the young Levite comes to be part of them. Now, he is their Levite for a minute, but then the greater tribe of Dan, people are coming through going, wait a minute, why do you do one guys? We can pay you more to be ours. And he's kind of left high and dry, and Micah feels put out. Weird story, but again, you've got this mix of idolatry that is not only, which is sanctioned by a Levite, a priest, as long as there's money in it, and the fact is this Levite is very mercenary. Now, this Levite story opens up to a more gruesome Levite story, which leads to the end of the book in near chaos. The people are in chaos. We have a Levite who has a concubine. Now, a concubine is a person to whom the man has not only, excuse me, not only conjugal rights to, and they're kind of a wife in the sense of it's an official process, but the weird thing is your children will not inherit my stuff. So there might be also a chance that the writers use that term because Levites don't have anything. They're supposed to be wandering priests. And in fact, their children are supposed to be raised to be Levites. So the fact she's a concubine is kind of weird. But number two, maybe she's just called that because any children she would have. But anyway, there's hints that there's trouble because she leaves him and goes home to Bethlehem. When he comes back, he meets her family. He kind of puts on a good show or good thing. Her father really likes him. Her father keeps asking him to stay. After 5 days, he gets tired of staying at this place, so he decides to leave, but it's a little late. They come to Jebu, a Jebusite city, which is on the site that would become Jerusalem. And it's late. And his servant says, we need to stay here for tonight. Now, again, xenophobia comes up. Gentiles are dirty. Gentiles are dangerous. So we better just go on. And they go to a Benjaminite city. And he finds he's wandering around the city. Nobody will give him a place to stay at first, which is the whole reason to go to a Jewish city, because they know the law. Well, these people seem to not. A kindly old man finally invites him in, but some evil men from the city surround the house, and they want to assault the Levite. Now, this is a total callback to Sodom and Gomorrah, right? Except for, truly, for the writer of this and the audience of this, Sodom and Gomorrah was deplorable, what Sodom was wanting to do with assaulting the angels. And yet, at the same time, these are Jewish people who should know better because they have the law. Again, reflecting Lot, the host offers his daughters. When that doesn't work, our Levite friend throws his concubine out, pushes her out the door to them, and they assault her all night. She tries to crawl back to the house, and she doesn't make it to the door. She's reaching for the door. He finds her. Now, the NIV is particularly offensive to me for this because in this sequence, because the NIV goes ahead and calls her dead. If that's your translation, you will think she's dead. Actually, the Hebrew says she is quiet, which is a different word than dead. I think the NIV is trying to clean this up, which I don't blame them, but I also go, sometimes you got to tell the story. She is silent. He puts her on a donkey. He takes her back home. He chops her up into 12 pieces. He sends her in those pieces in a box that says, this is what happened. And he tells the story of what happened. And then it's terrible. The Benjamites are worse than the worst. And so the rest of the tribes attack the Benjaminites. We almost get a civil war because this creates clashes among clans and among people. It gets terrible. The Benjamites get ruined. And this fighting gets so out of hand that the Benjaminites actually don't have enough women to repopulate. So they set up this thing with the neighboring tribes where the Benjaminites can literally raid during this dance they have in the fall. I mean, it's like the strangest play on Seven Brides for Seven Brothers I've ever seen. They can take the women, and if they capture them at this point, they're safe to be able to take them back and repopulate their lands. And that's not supposed to be a good thing. I mean, it really isn't. I mean, I know that the Bible a lot of times have bad things that we think is bad, and the Bible's an ancient book, so it's a different thing. But this is even bad because, again, the book ends. And what you going to do? People were doing whatever, because they had no king, no one to set the agenda, no one to proclaim, remind people of their moral obligations. They just did what was right in their own eyes. And so the book of Judges leaves us with this. The wheels have come off. The people are chaotic. And it's a mess. Something's got to change. Now, canonically speaking, in the Old Testament, well, in the Hebrew Bible, originally speaking, the next book would be Samuel. It's one book in the Hebrew Bible, but what we would call First Samuel. We Christians remixed the Hebrew Bible and moved some things around. And we tried to put these stories in chronological order. And because the time of the Judges is the setting of this next one, in the Christian Bible, you turn the page to the book of Ruth, which is where we'll be next week as we take a break from this march to nationhood and the fall of nationhood. That will be a big part of the narrative that we will be covering. We're going to take a minute to look at a family that includes a Moabite woman who is possibly the biggest paragon of faith we've ever seen. And so I look forward when you join me next time and we look at the book of Ruth. Thanks for being with me, and God bless.